course, advice about your home. We do it each and every Saturday from 6:05 until 7 with the CSRA Home Care Show. And let's go ahead and bring in Matt and Mark Ivey. Guys, how are you?
Great.
Good,
How are you?
I'm doing very good, and I know a little bit about the history of your company, but for those out there that do not, you guys have been around a while. Your dad has been in the business for quite some time and sort of built a legacy. Let's talk about that. I guess whichever one of y'all want to start, but your dad's been around a long time and kind of set a standard for you two, right?
He did, AB. Our father started building in 1984, and in 1984, Mark and I were teenagers, so
yeah.
we always joked that we did whatever he could force us to do for $3.15 an hour.
Yeah.
So that was our start in the home building business back in 1984. And so we didn't want to dig ditches necessarily the rest of our life. So Mark went off to Georgia Tech and got an engineering degree, and I went to Georgia and got a finance degree.
Yeah, now I did read about that on the. You guys have a great website, by the way, and we'll tell people where to go for that later in the interview. But I read about that. So you guys went off and kind of did your own thing for a while. But at what point did you decide? How did that work? Where you guys decided to come back and kind of join forces here in the CSRA?
We came back and started Ivey Homes in 2004 as a sister company to our father's company. And kind of what got us started is I was in Atlanta working for a real estate advisory company, basically buying real estate across the country for them.
Yeah.
Mark was with a local engineering company doing civil engineering, and that entrepreneurial spirit was always with us. And so our father was kind enough to let us start a sister company to his company in 2004, and so that's when Mark and I got our start.
Yeah, Mark, jump in here. Don't be bashful, because you guys went out on your own and achieved some pretty good success individually before you came together. Talk about that a little bit, because you did. You both were doing very well in your own fields, right?
We were. I started back got out of Georgia Tech in 1989. Excuse me. And when I finished there, I started with a local engineering firm here in Augusta. I worked for them for about 2 years, and then left there and went to work for a company based out of Atlanta, but wanted to start a branch office here in Augusta, Ben Turnipseed Engineers. And I worked for them for 13 years and basically built the branch office here in Augusta from me and one other person up to about 13 people when I left. But I didn't have any ownership there, and while the owner of that company treated me very, very well, he's a great man, and I learned a lot from him. There's just something about working with family and coming back into the business with Dad. Unlike Matt, I enjoyed digging the ditches and working those summers.
I think I'm with Matt on that one.
Well, part of the secret there was I knew how to drive the tractor.
Oh, there you go. That's smart.
So I got
smart
to drive
man.
the tractor. He had to work the shovel.
There you go. So we hear Mark's story. Matt, you were working for a pretty large company doing something pretty big as well, right?
Yeah, I ended up getting my master's in real estate from Georgia State. And when I was in school getting my master's, I started working for a company called TMW Real Estate. We were basically a European real estate advisory company, and we were buying pretty major assets across the country for a European clientele. I always say one of the buildings we bought was the Chrysler building, which is a fairly well-known building. So that company grew from about $400 million when I started with them to $4.4 billion when I left. And so I ended up getting a lot of exposure with all different asset types around the country. And then that company ended up getting bought by Prudential Real Estate Investors, which is the not the signs you see in the yard, but the big rock that you see on TV.
Yeah.
And that was a good company. I was in a great spot with that company, but the draw to come home, when you start having family, start looking at the time I was spending on the plane, Augusta really offers a lot.
Yeah.
And, having that conversation with my wife, where we want to raise our kids, what do we want to do, and Augusta was really calling pretty strong. And so we were very glad we made that move, and very happy that we've made that move now that we've been back for 10 years.
All right. Well, when you guys come back to start the sister company, what was the kind of the philosophy on what you guys were going to do? There are a lot of different home builders out there. What were you guys going to do to kind of set Ivey apart?
Well, even before that, AB, we had to figure out what each one of us would do.
Yeah.
Being brothers, if we had the same talents, we probably could not work together. We'd probably kill each other.
Yeah.
But Matt was gifted in one area and I was gifted in another, and it made for a unique partnership for us to be able to take our skill sets and combine together to form a company.
Yeah.
And so that has worked great for us over the years by keeping our talents like that. I do most of the field stuff, the construction, the development side. Matt's handling most of the marketing, the sales side, and the business side. He's got a great mind for business.
There you go. Sounds good. We're talking with Matt and Mark Ivey from Ivey Homes right here on the CSRA Home Care Show. Matt, let's talk about what kind of sets your homes apart, the quality, the energy efficiency. I know that's something that's very big with what you guys have been doing over the last decade.
It is, AB. And one of the things when we started in 2004 and we looked at kind of the landscape of what was out there for the builders at that particular time, there were really two different types of builders we saw in our market. They were the builders who were doing a very good job with giving you a lot of house for the square footage, more of a production mindset, and there were builders who were giving you a lot of good service and good quality that didn't have a full staff behind them, worked out of their truck, worked out of their home, and we really wanted to try to combine the best of both of those, being able to provide the affordability that you get on the more production-oriented side, but really be able to provide the personalization and the touch that the custom guys were able to do. So that's how we kind of set our business up, is really trying to get those back-end office systems built to allow us to do that. And so that's really been one of the things that has set us apart over the years, in that we do offer a good value in our homes, but we also offer a lot of different opportunities for personalization in the homes as well. And then building on that, in 2006, we really started looking at the energy efficiency programs that are out there, and went with the Energy Star program, and have been with the Energy Star program since 2006. And that has been a great program for us to be a part of, to really kind of set our homes apart from how they're built, and then being able to show folks the efficiencies that they're getting and the savings that they're getting, not only from the electrical standpoint, but also in just the comfort and quality of the home as well.
Now, when you have that energy, that stamp on the houses, that means a lot, though, right? I mean, in that business, I mean, that's kind of a seal of approval, I guess you get.
It does, AB, and there's several very good energy programs that are out there that provide third-party verification, but it's the third-party verification that really is what sets you apart. We can all go out there and say we do something better than somebody else, but at the end of the day, that is marketing, unless you have a third party that's coming in and verifying what you're doing, and you can demonstrate to your buyers what you're doing and why it's important. And that's why the third-party verification programs like Energy Star, EarthSense, things of that nature.
Mark, going back to the times you guys were working for your dad until now, I know you've seen tons of changes in this business, not only the economy, but just in different builders coming in and leaving the area. What have been some of the bigger changes you guys have seen in recent years?
Recently, what the biggest thing we've seen is just a change in how things are done from an energy standpoint. In the past, building codes weren't as to use lower energy and be more energy wise. So we've seen a lot of change there. The building has gone more from just a sticks and mortar to more of a building science.
Yeah.
You've got to understand how that house is going to function, how it's going to react to certain different climates, how it's going to react to the occupants that are in it.
Is that something you're seeing, the people that come to you guys, is that something you're seeing the customer really ask for too? Or is it more so just that's something that's kind of a wave going across the country? Is that something we're seeing locally, people asking for?
You do get some people that ask for it. It's more of it's the right way to build something.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that people are asking for it, but when you look at trying to build a home right, it's not something that's going to be here for 10 years, but this home is going to be here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So you want to build something that's going to withstand the test of time and be a durable product. And so that's what we've spent a lot of time focusing on, how to build something that's going to be durable over the years. And Energy Star helps with that in some of their programs that they've put forward.
Now, you guys both do sort of different parts, as you said. I will ask both the question. Mark, we'll start with you. What's your favorite part of this process? Is it being out on site, watching something, watching a vision come to fruition, I guess?
I'm fortunate. I get to start when it's just woods.
Yeah.
And I love to go out on a piece of property and envision what a neighborhood's going to look like, and then see that neighborhood come to fruition, and then be involved with the building of the house. Once it gets past framing or rough ends, I'm ready to move.
You're moving to the next set of woods.
I'm moving to the next set of woods.
There you go.
So that's my favorite part.
Matt, what about on your side? What's your favorite part?
Really, AB, for me, it's about putting the pieces together. Mark does such a great job on our development company and in the construction of the homes. What I enjoy doing is trying to figure out what product's going to work with the land that he's looking at, with the buyer profile that we're going after, and then working through the process of finding the right buyer, and then working through so that when they get a finished home and they're complete, that they're happy. So it's more of a complete, A to Z for me, and putting the pieces together. And there's so many pieces in this business, from the construction side to the buyer to the regulatory side, and financing is a big part of it as well. So there are a lot of pieces, and I enjoy the putting together those pieces.
You guys are sort of at ground zero, Matt, when it comes to we've seen economy certainly ups and downs in real estate, obviously, over the last 10 years. You guys are kind of at ground zero to kind of gauge almost where the economy is. Are we back? Maybe not quite at the level we were before, I guess, the bubble burst or whatever you want to call it. But where do you see in terms of from the building side, where are we at economy-wise right now?
That's a great question, AB, and I wish I could give you a 100% answer. Hey, this is where we are, but it's more of a moving target. And on the building side, it really comes down to jobs. Yeah. And we can build as many houses as we want, but if we don't have buyers for those houses, then it's not doing anybody any good. So really, job growth is what drives housing. And the Augusta market has been extremely fortunate over the last several years with the jobs that have come on the base with Fort Gordon, with NSA. That really really made a big difference when everybody else was slowing down. Now, we had new builders that came into our market from out of the market, but for total permits, we didn't get near the hit of some of our other.
We sort of have some buffers set in place anyway, do we not? With the plants we have, SRS, with Fort Gordon, we have some buffers where our area might not be hit, although everybody was hit at one point, but we're not maybe hit quite as much as others anyway, right?
Yeah, AB, I think that's a good point. We don't see the highs that some of the other markets see, but we don't see the lows either. And because we didn't see quite some of those highs, we didn't have as far to drop. Yeah. And so with a little bit more stable employment base that we had with Fort Gordon, and with costs coming down, costs came down considerably over the last several years, that it really gave new homes a competitive advantage. But now we're seeing the market return to a little bit more normalcy. I think the numbers I heard from the other day was we were back to about new homes representing about a third of the market, which had gotten up over 50%, which really wasn't healthy for the overall market. But it seems to be returning to a little bit more normal market now.
Now, I know you guys do a lot of stuff in the community with the Columbia County Chamber, supporting events like the one I'm doing. Matt, why is it important to get out there and do that? Not just necessarily to get your name out there business-wise, but just to be an important part of the community and for people to see you out there doing stuff like this.
Well, AB, we had a great example. Our father and our mother have always been very involved in the community, and so we saw Dad's involvement growing up, and we saw the importance of being involved. And when you start looking at what's going on in the community, if you don't like what's going on, you need to be involved and know what's going on and have a voice in what's going on. And so we're important. We're involved on working with our local governments, but we're also involved in several charity items and boards as well. I'm on the American Red Cross board, the Family Y board, the Convention and Visitors Bureau board for Columbia County. Mark's on several boards and very involved as well. And when you're going to be involved in the community, you need to give back to the community. Yeah. We're not always able to give back individually, sometimes the way that we want to, but Mark and I have been very fortunate and very blessed, and we have time and resources to do so, and we enjoy doing it as well.
Well, I was going to ask, my next question was going to be, what do you guys do when you are away from, building homes or selling houses or talking to the community? I was going to ask, but you guys are probably pretty, it sounds like pretty busy just working in the community. But Mark, what do you do when you have some free time? What do you like to go get out and do?
There's not a whole lot of free time, but when I do have some, we enjoy going to the lake as a family. Yeah. And during the summer, getting away at the lake, just being on the lake in the boat, there's nothing more relaxing to me than being up there on the water.
Yeah, I got a buddy that invites me. He's got a place up there, and he's a local business owner too, and he invites me up all the time. And you're right, when you're out there, you're just out there in the boat in the middle of the lake. There's no worries. I just love that. Matt, would you got? I guess if it's a family thing, you're doing the lake too. Anything else you guys like doing?
I enjoy the lake because it's his boat.
That's smart, yeah.
But for me, with two young kids, you're always involved in a fair amount of family activities, and seem to always be on the go. But when I need my solitude, I like to get on one of my bikes, whether it be my road bike or my mountain bike, and get out on a trail or a road and go out for a nice ride, and it kind of clears my head, and it's good exercise.
Well, sounds good to me. Matt and Mark Ivey from Ivey Homes. You can go to their website. It's iveyhomes.com, or